Hey all my fellow maniacs and soon to be maniacs out there, this is the Chainsaw Maniac and today I thought we'd just sit back and chill a bit. Usually I discuss webcomic and animation based content. For those of you who are new to this channel, so today I'm just going to be doing a little speed painting. We're going to talk about some webcomic stuff, my upcoming webcomic projects that's coming, as well as me working in Blender with my webcomics and how the process is going. And maybe I'll dive into some animation based content because I will be hopping on more animation based projects as well in the future. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. So if that sounds interesting to you guys, I suggest you like as well as subscribe because you don't want to miss out on this. In the next video coming up, I will also be discussing my journey as a professional artist, because for those of you who don't know, I have been in the animation industry for about at least over 7 years. So that's a whole bunch of experience I can unload on you guys, and maybe we can hop into how you can start your creative journey, or if you have started your creative journey, how do you propel yourself into that professional status. So maybe in the future we will be discussing that. I know after this video, I usually upload every Tuesdays and Saturdays now. So this Saturday, the next video will come out where I will be diving into that. And I'll be talking about how do you get into the industry, what you will need, like your portfolio, experience, all that types of things. So you want to stick around for that. But for now, let's just chill out and do some speed painting and, just sit back as I whisper sweet nothings into your ear. Kind of like an ASMR video, but not really. You know what I mean? And yeah, in the back, you can actually see me working on my latest webcomic coming up. I'm kind of working on a cover. I'm trying to figure out what kind of cover I want for my webcomic, and so I'm working on different angles, different ideas and everything, as well as promotional material for my future promotions that I plan to do for the webcomic. I got this really awesome pose of him chilling against a wall, kind of like he's been through a giant battle, like he's fought off a bunch of people and he's just relaxing after that giant battle after he's murdered like everyone. So that's interesting. I like the way he's posing here. Yeah, in the future I also want to do a video in terms of using 3D models, posing characters, kind of like the Clip Studio 3D models that you can use to pose, to get certain types of poses you want from your character. I want to talk about how to make that more lifelike, because I've seen recently people use the 3D models in Clip Studio Paint. They tend to make their characters a bit more stiff, like they're not as lifelike in terms of the way they pose their characters. It kind of looks quite stiff, like they a bit robotic. So and I've done the same thing in my beginning years, starting out as an animator. It's one of those things that you kind of have to perfect over time. And I mean, I started off being Stiffy McStiff stuff, in the beginning. And now, look at this guy. He's chill. It's like layback. You can actually convey he doesn't even have a face, but it actually conveys the emotion of what he's feeling right here in this moment. I might actually have to move the chest a bit around, but I'll probably do that in this video, as you'll see me working on this. And I'm actually working on it as I'm chatting to you guys, because that's one skill that you always got to work on. I sorted out the chest right now as I'm talking to you, so maybe you'll see it on screen. But either way, I'm a pro, so eventually I'll get there. So first off, let's just talk about my webcomics coming up. This project, the City of Clones, I think I named it, or City of Clones, just City of Clones. Very interesting webcomic concept that I came up with. Yeah, this webcomic is more of a anti-hero, vigilante type of webcomic, which is going to be interesting, as well as there's going to be cameos of characters that's actually going to be in my next webcomic coming out, Blade Reapers. So there's some characters that's going to be in Blade Reapers that's gonna cameo in here as well, because it's the universe are connected. Yeah, and that goes for all my webcomics coming out now, except the Merchant of Ignatius is also within this universe as well, but the Merchant of Ignatius is more of a TV show as well as a popular webcomic series in this universe, which is very interesting. And so the characters that are coming out now in my new webcomics coming up, as well as the short stories, are going to be all connected in a way. And you might see them cameo, even if it's just them in the background. You'll see them cameo. It's a very small world, They meet up every now and then, here and there. So it's gonna be interesting to have a connected universe like that, I feel like it's fun because I can play around, and it also plants ideas into your audience's mind, like they see a character in the background, be like, oh, why the hell were they there? It's very interesting that they connected in this, and you will see them in certain other scenes. One character is very prominent in this series coming up now, the short story, City of Clones, is going to be the Crow. I don't know if you have been following me for quite some time. There's a character I made. Her name is Elizabeth Crest, and she's also known as the Crow. She's like a detective, also one of the sergeants of the precinct as well. The role she's gonna fill in this series is going to be, she's gonna be the detective, obviously, that's gonna try and figure out what's going on, and we're gonna be following her as well throughout this journey. But it's mostly gonna be focused on this guy chilling against the wall. His name is John 301. He's a clone, obviously, so his number is 301 because he's the because his clone number is 301 because he's the 301th clone of the guy, you know, that was cloned. So that's his name, John 301, and he's very interesting character. He doesn't necessarily have any powers. The way I would explain him is he's kind of like a super soldier, kind of like Captain America. They've kind of done all sorts of weird experiments on his body. That's the type of vibe he has. He just doesn't give a damn. He will murder you senseless. He's kind of like the Punisher combined with Captain America in a way, because of, you know, his physical strength, his speed. He also has some sort of a healing factor. He heals faster than most people. It's not like Wolverine like, but it's pretty fast. Like, although he can still die, he's not like completely like Wolverine, like it just completely regenerates. No, he can if he gets shot more times than he's used to, he can just die, you know. But overall, he's pretty good. Very good reflexes, you know. That's kind of what I'm going for here with this guy. The story, I've actually started on the story as well. Very interesting story. I don't want to spoil anything, so I'm not going to talk about it right now. But the first scene reminds me a lot of the you know, when Wolverine breaks out of the container with his claws all out, you know. A very similar scenario happens in here. Very Wolverine inspired, like. But in many cases, it's more so like Punisher, you know. He kind of just goes around doing what he kind of feels is right, and tries to make things right. Obviously, his main goal is to find out where he came from, because his memory is kind of, he doesn't remember who he is. He doesn't remember anything about his past, because the cloning process was never completed properly. So he kind of is like on a fresh start here. He doesn't know who he is. He doesn't know how he got here. It's just his journey of trying to figure out exactly what happened. How did he get here? And the organization that cloned him is going to be trying to cover everything up. So he's going to be on the run from the organization that's following him. As well as now he has this detective also investigating the case, figuring things out on his ass as well. And then I think in the beginning part as well, there's a mob thing going on. So the mob is also like, everybody's just after him. And in a sense, he's kind of like going to be like John Wick in terms of like fight scenes and stuff like that. This guy has many skills in terms of fighting, many fighting styles, because it's all been programmed into his mind when he was cloned, and he's just trying to figure out exactly why he's being chased as well by these people. What do they want from him? And as well, there's other characters that also get involved, and he kind of has to make a decision whether or not he wants to involve them in this, given that it's quite dangerous and everything. Yeah, but I'm very interested into the crossover with the detective as well. The main guy, John 301, might also cameo in Blade Reapers as well. So, be very interesting crossover. There's also some other characters that is in the meet in here. There's a character I made based on myself and my wife as well. So, they are kind of, in this universe, they kind of like the weapons experts. They build weapons, armor, and all types of things in here on the black market, and they sell it to people. So you will see them a lot throughout my series in terms of just the ground fighting people. Because obviously later on, I'm going to be doing some superhero webcomics as well. So, because there is some sort of superhero in this universe as well. So yeah, we're going to explore that as well. So there's a lot going on that I plan to explore later on in the future. So like, by the way, when I was working on the character sheets for this webcomic, I couldn't take it anymore. Like I worked on the character sheets and I was like, God damn, it's gonna take forever before I even start the actual story. So I was like, God damn, you know what? I tossed the character sheets aside and I was like, I'm going to start the story. I'm gonna start thumbnailing right away because I like just hopping into things, you know, and then fleshing them out later. That's just my writing style. I like causing chaos and then finding the order in that chaos. That's how my brain works. I don't know. I'm weird like that. Okay. I've started thumbnailing because you know from my creative way of writing, I like to storyboard things, you know, rather than just writing out the story and everything. I like conveying things with images and pictures. Yeah, words kind of bore me sometimes, so I just kind of try to convey what I can throughout images and pictures more, because I feel like that's more exciting. Because visually a picture can say like 1,000 words, so if you can convey something in one panel that a whole paragraph can convey, I mean, your job is basically almost like 90% done right there, right? So I don't feel the need to actually write out my story and the whole thing. I write down just basic points that I want to touch on, and then I kind of flesh them out as I go along. So I just work on the skeleton and then I add flesh to the bones, you know? And you know, I've been also thinking like, what am I gonna do after Blade Reapers? I like to think way ahead. I haven't even started on the outline for Blade Reapers or anything. I think I should just be taking things down one at a time. But there are some comics I plan on doing in the future right after Blade Reapers. Definitely want to try doing some sort of superhero comic, you know. I also want to try in the future a horror series or a thriller series. That would be very interesting. What would it be about? Not sure at the moment, but it will be interesting to actually do a webcomic series on a villain I plan on introducing later, like a short story of a villain, kind of like their origin story, like how they got that way. And then once I do the short story, I introduce them into the comic they're going to be placed into. Like if it's a Play the Reaper villain, like I'll do a short story on the villain and then place them in the comic later on. That will be interesting. That would be very cool if I can do that, if I can pull it off. Hopefully you guys are following the Chains saga. Those are the short little animation clips that I put in front of almost every one of my videos. I've been putting them out as YouTube shorts as well, just in case, you know, so you can follow them separately. And in those little small animation videos, I've been telling like a little story of Chains, and it all has to be based with when Chains had a mental breakdown. And this is the one question I want to pose to you guys. Was that really Chains? Very interesting way of building a story from this absolute failure that happened on stream. But I felt like I had to do something with it, and I did, and now it's there. It's out in the universe, and I want to see where people take it. And I want to see if people can solve the mystery of Chains. What happened? What's going on? You know, it's going to be interesting if someone latches onto that and can figure it out. But that's just my own little fun thing that I planned on doing. So far in creating my webcomics in Blender, it's been a really awesome process so far. I still haven't completely... If you look on here, you can see this kind of some wonkiness going on with the 3D model. I haven't completely perfected the 3D model yet, but it's still able to be used for posing so far. It's not completely fleshed out to be used for fully rendered images for the webcomic yet, but I definitely want to get that done as well. But so far it can be used for like just basic posing. 3D models also help me with shading. Like I don't have to guess where the shadows are going to be, so I can actually project a sun onto the 3D model and look exactly where the shading is going to be, and decide whether or not I want to shade actually in that area, how it will look with the shading in that area. So that kind of helps out a lot as well. And also, so far in the Blender process, I've loved the tools that you can use in Blender. And you know what it's perfect for? The tools in Blender are perfectly awesome for drawing a background. If you ever want to do a background fast and efficiently, Blender is really good for that. Like once you figure it out, of course. Once you figure out the shortcut keys and everything, like it's very beneficial. At least for me. I'm not sure about you guys. You know, it might just not be your thing at the end of the day. But for me, it's serving its purpose. It's doing what it needs to do for me, and I'm getting a lot of work done. So it's really up to you. If you plan on using it for your projects, say go ahead. You know, if you could figure out the shader system in Blender, you can actually create some awesome toon shaders and then just toon shade a giant 3D background as well, which is awesome for like all types of shots. Yeah, but but posing the characters and just putting them down there, you know, and just drawing over them really saves me so much time. I don't really have to plan out much. I just go for it. It saves me so much time, especially for building awesome like posters or, you know, promotional content. Really awesome for that. But yeah, I'm also trying to figure out a way to rig up the clothing on my characters as well. So, because so far the weight painting has been a nightmare, and I've been trying to figure out a way to make that easier for me. Because if I'm gonna make a bunch of characters, that's the only drawback of seeing of doing this Blender process is all the characters that I might do in the future. Although I might only do this for just main characters. I mean, like secondary characters or characters you just see every now and then. They don't need the whole, you know, the whole bells and whistles all over them. You know, they can just be like just drawn in characters. You know, I don't have to really do a whole 3D model for them. And that's kind of how I get around that problem. Just a very just the main characters really. I don't have to be drawing all those extras, you know, they're just extras. I mean, some of their purpose is literally probably just to die in the series, so I'm not gonna really put up all that effort for them and then kill them off later. I mean, that's just crazy, man. Why would I do that to myself? But yeah, this webcomic, and I can definitely see my progress on how I've improved so far. I've definitely gotten way better at drawing. Everything is faster now. I get things done much quicker. Even like the story writing process becomes so much easier. I don't even have to really dive too deep into it. I just kind of think of an idea and I go with it, and then I flesh it out later. You know, it's not really a big problem for me anymore. And you know, I've always thought like I'm not very good at conveying romance really when it comes to romance between characters or conveying certain emotions. I'm still working on my facial expressions as well, but it's gotten better over, you know, the course of me working on this webcomic. Although yeah, in conveying emotions is still a thing for me, like I have to figure out. Anger I can do pretty easily. Angry is pretty easily. Expressions like confusion and maybe surprised, you know. But yeah, as I go along, it will probably come to me and I'll probably get it. You know, I'll probably figure it out. Oh, by the way, I also, this is for those of you who are into magical girls. There's actually magical girls in my universe as well. They're not your typical type of magical girl as well. They kind of, shout out to Strawberry. I know she'll enjoy this, but they are very gritty and dark form of the magical girls, and you'll kind of see them in the future. They will cameo, I think, in Blade Reapers as well, but I think they will mainly be in my superhero series coming up. They're like a team of, I think, 3 or 4. I'm not sure how much girls there are on the team because I'm still figuring out the numbers, but there are at least 2 that I've worked on so far, and they are pretty dark. They're pretty emo. They're very violent, and yeah, I mean, they look all cutesy like, but they will definitely beat the living crap out of you. I'm still contemplating whether or not I want to make them villains. I think it will be interesting to make them a villain, and then, you know, they're all cutesy and they're all schoolgirls, by the way. Like they're very cute, like schoolgirl type, those tropes, you know, that they have in anime, but they will beat the living crap out of you, you know. So it's very interesting. I don't know. I thought it would be a cool idea. I'll see how the idea sticks and how it lands. But for now, I thought it was a very cool idea to have. Oh yeah, and in this series as well, the City of Clones, there are zombies in here as well. So they're known as defects in this universe. They're kind of like defective clones. Very strong as well. They're very strong. They're very fast. And they have super strength, so yeah, you don't want to mess with them really. And this is one of the things that I like. I don't know if you can see on the screen, the gun is extremely detailed, and so I don't really have to draw as much of the gun, because in Blender you can kind of project lines onto a 3D object, so I don't even have to draw it. I can just project like actual lines, so I can actually just project the lines on the 3D object instead of just drawing it. So I also wanted to mention how things are going with the Merchant of Ignatius intro animation video I plan on doing as well. It's actually going quite well. I still have to finish it up though. I just kind of started on the beginning part. You know, that's the thing, like sometimes I don't feel like doing something and I feel like moving on to something else. Then what I'll do is I kind of put the thing that I'm not interested in at the moment on the back burner, and then I'll just kind of work on whatever I want to work on right now. Like now I just really want to work on this short story, so I'll do that. And then maybe tomorrow I'll feel like working on the animation. You never know. I have all the time in the world, really. I don't have to rush things, you know. Although I do like keeping busy, I don't really have to rush it as much. I can just do what I can do right now, and I can always just hop into it later, you know. It's not really a big thing. Because I know I will get to it eventually. Like, I won't just leave it the way it is, because I know myself. Like, I have to finish it. Like, I'm not one of those people who can't really finish things. There are times when I don't finish things, but that's usually if I see there's no benefit in finishing it. Like, if I see there's not really a benefit in finishing something, I won't finish it. But if I see the potential in something, and I know if I finish it, I know there's potential that it could kick off, or there's potential in actually creating something awesome, I will stick with the idea until I just lose interest. But I'll still finish it. Even though I lose interest, I'll still finish my goal that I've set for that specific idea, you know. And I have ways to keep myself motivated in terms of finishing it, like, because sometimes, you know, you're not as motivated to finishing something, and that's fine. But you know what you do? If there is something else that's motivating you, and there's something else that you want to do, focus on that. Like, tell yourself, like, if I can just finish this, I can work on more on that. Maybe you don't want to work on it all day. Fine. Work on it for an hour. Work on it for half an hour. Work on it for 15 minutes. It doesn't matter. Once you work on it for 15 minutes, maybe every day, it will pile up and you will finish it eventually, you know? There might come a day where you even like, you know what? I'm just gonna get it out of the way. I'm gonna finish it. And then you end up finishing it. So never give up. Never give up. Keep moving. Keep things going. Try to make your goals as simple as possible. Don't overshoot. If you do overshoot, no worries. You know, that's one thing that I've always learned from anime. You don't ever give up. And that's how I basically got into, you know, briefly, that's how I got into the animation industry. I just never gave up, you know. I basically applied for the same job like for 7 months. Even if it was the same company, I would apply to the same company at least like 100 times. Like, they would get emails from me every day, if not like at least every week. Like, I'll just be spamming that CV all over the place. I mean, they give you their email, so they give you the opportunity to apply for a job at somewhere. Just remember this, they're not saying you can't apply only a set amount of times. No, it's unlimited. Remember that. If you want to apply for a job, the application is like applying for the job, especially if it's over email. It's unlimited. Okay, keep applying. They can't stop you. They can't be like, no, because you know, they might turn you down, but they can't tell you not to keep applying. You know, you just keep applying until it annoys them, and they have to look at your CV and see exactly what you can do. What are your skills, you know? And there will come a time in their company, you know, they're in the dark zone, as I call it, as like this zone where, you know, they're losing out of work, and they need someone to do the work that they need to do, even if it's a small task, even if it's a, you know, because they always offer internships at certain jobs. This is my little advice for you if you're trying to get into the industry. If you can get an internship at a company that you always wanted to apply by, I suggest taking that internship. Look, also reading out the contract and how long that you're gonna be there. Definitely take the internship so you can see if it's exactly what you want, if it's exactly the job you want to do. You know, when you're there, you can tell whether or not you want to actually do the job that you're there for. So I suggest, you know, checking out, do what you gotta do. Hope everybody's enjoying the speed painting video so far, as well as I hope you're working on something as you're listening to it. I want you to, you know, find something to work on, you know, or maybe you just want to chill. But yeah, if you guys enjoy the content and, you know, you want more, there's videos where, you know, I hop into the problems with Webtoon. There's videos where I just do some fun stuff. So go ahead and check that out. I'm pretty sure there's videos up on screen that you can click. Go ahead and click them, man. Go check them out. And if you enjoy them, go ahead and like, subscribe, as well as stay notified. You know, ring that bell. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Stay awesome, everyone.